You're standing in an auto parts store. Synthetic oil costs $75. Regular oil costs $35. The employee says synthetic is better, but your mechanic says it's a waste. Who is telling the truth? Today we're going to find out. Scotty Kilmer says synthetic oil is mostly marketing. The car care nut compared two engines, and Engineering Explained studied the molecular science. 3 professionals, 3 different opinions. By the end of this video, you'll understand which oil your engine really needs. If you care about protecting your vehicle with real facts, hit that subscribe button right now. Let's begin with the most debated viewpoint. Scotty Kilmer has been a mechanic for 55 years. He's repaired everything from 60s Mustangs to new Toyotas. For years, he has stayed firm on one belief: synthetic oil is overpriced advertising. Scotty says you're basically wasting your money if you buy the super expensive stuff when the generic oils have the same rating. His opinion is based on 3 main ideas. First, regular oil worked perfectly for 80 years. Second, if you change your oil often enough, the type doesn't really matter. Third, synthetic oil mainly exists to increase profits. Scotty uses his own high-mileage Toyotas, like his 1994 Celica, as proof. But something important has changed since 1994. Modern engines are very different. Today's engines use turbochargers that spin up to 250,000 RPMs and direct fuel injection, which can cause carbon buildup. They operate with extremely tight piston-to-cylinder clearances. These systems create levels of heat and friction that simply did not exist 30 years ago. Regular oil was made for simpler engine designs. Scotty's main advice is simple: change your oil every 3,000 miles. He warns against quick oil change places, claiming they use cheaper parts and unskilled labor that could lead to your engine blowing up. Scotty's method assumes you will strictly change your oil every 3,000 miles. For the average driver, that's 4 changes a year, totaling $1,600 over 10 years. Synthetic every 10,000 miles costs $1,500. What if you don't change it at 3,000 miles? Most drivers wait until 5 to 7,000. That's where regular oil fails, because at the molecular level, it does not perform like synthetic after several thousand miles. Scotty Kilmer says synthetic is a scam, but talking is one thing, physical proof is another. The car care nut decided to take apart 2 identical Camry engines to see the real wear marks. Engine 1 used full synthetic for 112,000 miles. Engine 2 used conventional max life for 108,000 miles. Same driving style, same weather, same owner. This was the perfect real-world experiment. Ali began the teardown. First, he removed the valve covers. This is where oil quality shows first: camshafts and valve stems. These parts deal with constant friction and high heat. The synthetic engine was light golden and clean. Camshaft lobes were smooth with no varnish. But in the regular oil engine, the difference was obvious: darker color, brown staining, and more deposits. Visible varnish on the camshaft surfaces. Oil passages showed leftover residue. Ali moved the camera closer and said, "Look at this difference. The synthetic engine looks like it has 60,000 miles. The conventional one looks like it has 120,000, but both have nearly the same mileage." He ran his finger across the camshaft surface. On the synthetic engine, his finger stayed clean. On the regular oil engine, his finger picked up brown residue. That residue is oxidized oil, oil that has broken down from heat and left behind deposits. But Ali didn't stop there. He continued deeper into the engines. Next area: pistons and cylinder walls. This is where serious damage can happen. If the oil film fails, metal touches metal. That leads to scratches, scoring, and permanent wear. Ali removed the cylinder heads from both engines. With the heads off, the tops of the pistons were clearly visible. The synthetic oil engine pistons were light brown with some carbon, but not much. The regular oil engine pistons were darker, with thicker carbon buildup and heavier deposits. After that, he removed the pistons fully from both engines. Now he was able to closely check the piston rings and the cylinder walls. In the synthetic oil engine, the piston rings moved smoothly. They were not stuck, and there was no heavy carbon holding them in place. The ring lands, which are the grooves where the rings sit, were fairly clean. The conventional oil engine showed something different. There was more carbon packed into the ring grooves. The rings still moved, but they did not move as easily. Next, Ali checked the cylinder walls. This part is very important. Cylinder walls are finished at the factory with a crosshatch pattern. This pattern helps hold oil and lower friction. As the engine wears over time, that pattern slowly fades away. On the synthetic oil engine, Ali dragged his fingernail across the cylinder wall. He could still feel the crosshatch pattern clearly. The pattern was still there. The cylinder wall surface looked smooth, and there were no clear scratches. On the conventional oil engine, the crosshatch pattern was lighter and harder to see. When he looked closely, he noticed small vertical scratches. They were not severe. The engine was still working, but real wear could be measured. Ali pointed at the scratches using a small pick tool and said, "This is what happens when the oil film gets weak. Metal starts touching metal. It doesn't ruin the engine right away, but after 200,000 miles, this kind of wear builds up." He then measured the cylinder bore diameter with a micrometer. The factory specification for a new Camry cylinder is 87.5 millimeters. The synthetic oil engine, after 112,000 miles, measured 87.52 millimeters. That means only 0.02 millimeters of wear. The conventional oil engine, after 108,000 miles, measured 87.58 millimeters. That equals 0.08 millimeters of wear. The conventional engine had 4 times more wear. Ali also examined the oil pan and the oil pickup screen in both engines. The synthetic oil engine's oil pan had a thin layer of residue, which is normal. The conventional oil engine's oil pan had thicker sludge sitting at the bottom. The oil pickup screen in the synthetic engine was clean. The pickup screen in the conventional engine had visible debris. Ali's final conclusion was calm but clear. He said, "The conventional engine is not ruined. It still runs fine. But synthetic oil protected this engine better." And both engines had the same 10,000-mile oil change interval. For about $50 more per oil change, that's cheap protection for your engine. Ali shared detailed close-up pictures in his video. He compared camshafts, pistons, and cylinder walls side by side. The proof could be seen and measured. Still, this was only one technician's experiment. 2 engines, real driving conditions, real wear results. But what does science say? What is happening at the molecular level that makes synthetic oil behave differently? That is where an engineer's view becomes important, and the data gives even stronger answers. The car care nut showed what synthetic and conventional oil look like inside real engines. Synthetic oil left the engine cleaner, caused less wear, and offered better protection. But why does that happen? What is chemically different about synthetic oil? That's where Engineering Explained steps in. Engineering Explained is run by Jason Fensk. Jason is a mechanical engineer with a degree from the University of Colorado. Before starting YouTube, he worked in vehicle dynamics engineering. He does not sell oil. He is not sponsored by any oil company. He studies publicly available research and explains the science clearly. When comparing synthetic and conventional oil, Jason has made several detailed videos explaining the molecular differences. In his January 22 video, he begins with a simple question. What is motor oil actually made of? Conventional oil is refined from crude petroleum. Crude oil is pumped from the ground and sent to a refinery. At the refinery, it is heated and separated into different parts. The heavy parts become asphalt. The light parts become gasoline. The middle parts are turned into motor oil. But here's the problem. Crude oil contains thousands of different hydrocarbon molecules. Some molecules are small, with about 8 carbon atoms. Some are much larger, with 25 carbon atoms. Some are straight chains. Some are branched. When conventional oil is refined, it ends up as a mixture of many different molecule sizes and shapes. That mixture behaves unevenly when exposed to heat. Jason drew this on a whiteboard. He sketched different sized molecules and explained. When conventional oil reaches around 300 degrees Fahrenheit, which is normal engine temperature, the smaller molecules begin to evaporate. The larger molecules stay behind, but because they are not uniform, they create more friction. Over time, the oil loses thickness. It becomes thinner, and that means less protection. Synthetic oil is built differently. There are 2 main types of synthetic oil. The first type is Group 4, also called PL or polyalphalfin. This type is chemically created in a lab, molecule by molecule. Every molecule is the same size, shape, and structure. The second type is Group 3 synthetic oil. It starts as crude oil but is refined so heavily that the molecules become almost identical. It is processed to be nearly uniform. Both types share one goal: uniform molecules. Jason explained the benefit clearly. When all the molecules are the same size, they react the same way. They do not evaporate at different temperatures. They do not break down at different speeds. That's why synthetic oil can handle higher heat. How much higher heat can it handle? Jason referred to official thermal breakdown test data from the American Petroleum Institute (API). The API performs standardized tests on motor oils. One of these tests is called the Thermal Oxidation Stability Test. In this test, oil samples are heated to engine operating temperatures. Then they are repeatedly heated and cooled to copy real driving conditions. After many cycles equal to 5,000 or 10,000 miles, the oil is tested to see how much it has degraded. The results are publicly available. For conventional oil tested at 5,000-mile intervals, viscosity loss is about 18 to 22%. The total base number, which shows how well the oil can neutralize acids, drops by 30 to 35%. Oxidation increases a lot. That oxidation forms the brown sludge algae found during the teardown. For synthetic oil tested at 10,000-mile intervals, viscosity loss is only 6 to 9%. Oxidation levels are much lower. The total base number drops by just 12 to 15%. Jason displayed a graph in his video. Two lines were shown, one for conventional oil and one for synthetic oil. The conventional oil line dropped sharply after 5,000 miles. The synthetic oil line stayed mostly steady even at 10,000 miles. He said, "This is not advertising. This is laboratory data." Synthetic oil chemically resists breaking down better than conventional oil. That's why car manufacturers allow longer oil change intervals. Jason also talked about cost because that is Scotty's biggest point. Synthetic oil costs more. So Jason did the math on his whiteboard. Conventional oil usually costs about $35 for a 5-quart container plus a filter. The recommended change interval for most conventional oils is 5,000 miles. Cost per mile, 35 divided by 5,000 equals $0.007 per mile. That is 0.7 cents per mile. Synthetic oil usually costs around $75 for a 5-quart container plus a filter. The recommended interval for synthetic oil is 10,000 miles. Cost per mile, 75 divided by 10,000 equals $0.0075 per mile. The difference is about 0.5 cent per mile. Jason wrote on the board, over 100,000 miles. Conventional oil costs about $700. Synthetic oil costs about $750. That is a $50 difference during your ownership for clearly better heat protection and less engine wear. That is not expensive. That's cheap. He pointed at the math and continued, many people believe synthetic oil costs twice as much. It does cost about twice as much per oil change, but since you change it half as often, the cost per mile ends up almost the same. Jason then talked about another very important point. Modern engines are built to use synthetic oil, especially turbocharged engines. Turbochargers can spin faster than 150,000 revolutions per minute. The bearing inside the turbo is cooled and lubricated by engine oil. That oil is exposed to extremely high temperatures, often going above 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Regular oil begins to break down at those temperatures. Synthetic oil is made to stay stable up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, or even 500 degrees Fahrenheit. Jason showed a cutaway image of a turbocharger and explained, if you use regular oil in a modern turbo engine, you're risking damage. The oil will break down. The turbo bearings will wear out faster. That's why almost every turbocharged vehicle today requires synthetic oil. It's not a suggestion. It's based on engineering. He mentioned actual owner's manuals. Ford EcoBoost engines require synthetic. Honda turbocharged Civics require synthetic. Toyota Turbo Camry requires synthetic. Mazda CX turbo models require synthetic. These are not oil company advertisements. These are requirements set by the manufacturer's engineers. Jason's final point focused on longer oil change intervals. He said, if you change oil every 3,000 miles, regular oil will probably be fine. But most people don't do that. Most drivers follow the 10,000-mile interval listed in their owner's manual. At 10,000 miles, regular oil has broken down a lot. Synthetic oil has not. That's the difference. Jason ended his video with a clear statement. Synthetic oil is not a scam. It is chemically engineered to resist heat. Laboratory tests show it. Engine teardowns show it. And when you compare cost per mile, it is only slightly more expensive. For modern engines, especially turbocharged ones, synthetic oil is the correct choice. So now we have 3 viewpoints. Scotty Kilmer says synthetic oil is overpriced marketing. The car care nut saw that synthetic oil performed better. Engineering Explained studied the chemistry and cost numbers and confirmed the advantages of synthetic. 3 experts, 3 different opinions. So, what is the real answer? What oil should you actually use? Let's decide right now. Alright, 3 experts and 3 very different opinions. Scotty Kilmer says synthetic oil wastes money. The car care nut opened 2 engines and synthetic clearly performed better. Engineering Explained showed the science. Here's my breakdown and exactly what you should do. First, let's admit where Scotty is correct. If you drive a car built before 2010 with a simple naturally aspirated engine, no turbo, and you change your oil every 3,000 miles, regular oil works. But if you drive a vehicle made after 2015, things are different. Modern engines run hotter. They use tighter clearances. Many have turbochargers, direct injection, and variable valve timing. The car care nut showed what happens at 10,000-mile intervals. Regular oil resulted in more carbon buildup. Synthetic oil showed cleaner valves, cleaner pistons, and 4 times less measurable cylinder wall wear. That is not theory. That is physical metal evidence. Engineering Explained confirmed why this happens. Regular oil molecules are mixed in different sizes. Synthetic oil molecules are uniform and built to resist heat. That is chemistry. So here's my recommendation. If you drive a pre-2010 vehicle with no turbo and change your oil often, use regular oil. If you drive a 2015 or newer vehicle, especially with a turbocharger or direct injection, use synthetic oil. No debate. Now let's talk about money. Over 100,000 miles, the difference is $50. $50 for clearly better engine protection. That is protection. If you are someone who forgets oil changes or stretches them to 10,000 miles, synthetic oil is not a choice. It is necessary. Regular oil at 10,000 miles is heavily degraded. Synthetic oil at 10,000 miles is still working properly. That extra safety margin protects your engine. Modern engines need synthetic oil. For most people watching, synthetic oil is the smarter choice. If this video helped you decide, press the subscribe button. Every week we break down car myths using real data, real experts, and no nonsense. Second, leave a comment below.